Welcome, you guys reach Imperial Reviews, and today review would be The Union starring Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Let's get into it. Let's go over the brief cast for this movie. You got, of course, Mark Wahlberg plays as Mike McKenna. Halle Berry plays as Roxanne Hall. J. Keith Simmons plays as Tom Brennan. Mike Coulter plays as Nick Faraday. You have a D. Wally, a King Yu plays as Frank Filer, and you have Jackie Earl Haley plays as the foreman. And then you have Lucy Court plays as Eliza Striller. This was a decent movie. It launched on Netflix on Friday, August 16th. It became the #1 movie over the weekend for streaming for Netflix. Decent movie. So let's get into it. So you got, and actually the trailer pretty much gave you what this story was about. So you have Mike McKenna. He's a construction worker in New Jersey. He's living a regular life. He used to date Roxanne in high school, middle school to high school, and she kind of disappeared when she went to college. He's out enjoying his regular life with his friends. She shows up at the bar. Now, that's what the plot of the trailer. But how it starts out with Roxanne is in the UK, and she has an operation called the Trias. And there's a guy who has some secret intel. She sends her team of like 6 in to get him, 4 to 6 in to get him, and get the intel and get the guy who kind of switched sides. In the process of doing that, there was a botch in the mission, and everything went to crap. So Roxanne was out watching this the whole time. The Union head, Tom, he was back at the headquarters, and he was watching it through his lenses and through cameras and everything. So the team started getting plucked off. So this team that was on the ground was pretty much being led by Michael Coulter's character, Faraday, Nick Faraday. So it looked real suspicious. The team was just getting plucked off, and then they got to the bridge, and he was out in the open. So it didn't. If someone's sniping your whole team from wherever, why would you be out in the open? And he was out in the open, and he got hit. And he's a known actor, so I knew by him getting shot in the very beginning. I just said, "Oh, the fix is in. He's the bad guy." Well, he's like gonna come back to. I knew he would come back to life, or whatever. So from there, a group came and picked up the intel that was inside of this suitcase. So that was the mission. How do we get this intel back? This very important information, and how do we get in? So Roxanne thought the big idea to go get her long lost boyfriend from Jersey that's been living a regular life. He doesn't have no profile. He was pretty much like athletic in high school. She thinking, let me bring him in the fold. That part of the story, they definitely could have wrote that better. That just didn't make any sense at all. So nevertheless, that's where we see the trailer. She shows up to the bar he's at, and she pretty much tell him, let's go catch up on old times. They take a trip with the motorcycle. They end up at one of the places they used to go to when they were teenagers. And she injected him with a tranquilizer to put him to sleep. When he woke up, he was in the UK, and he didn't go off like a normal person would. He kind of walked out. When he walked out of the building, Tom Brennan was sitting there, and so he pretty much told him drive. He went along with it. Pretty much told him the whole story. Told him about the botched mission that they had and the severity and importance. So pretty much told him if he was willing to stay on with this and become a member of the union, pretty much he would have a crash course of 2 week training before they can set him up to go for the auction and get that information back. So, he had a little back and forth with Roxanne. She pretty much said, I'm trying to give you a chance to basically live life. You've been living this dull, boring life, and you never got out of Jersey or the tri-state area, and you just need to see what else is out there. I'm giving you a chance at that. So he ended up staying. He had some friends back home where there was a wedding coming, and he was the best man at his friend's wedding. So it had some humorous moments where one of the humorous moments when it showed the beginning of his life, he was having sex with his 7th grade teacher, and of course he's all grown up now, and her husband works at the bank, and he was actually in the house. He was downstairs. So it was just like, and then the mom, it's a small town, so she knows everything. Everybody tells everybody's business. So the mom was pretty much telling them, like, she knew he was sleeping with his old 7th grade teacher, and then when he was at the bar with Roxanne, she knew he was at the bar with Roxanne. So that's just humorous moments. So nevertheless, they picked Mike into this crash course for training for the union. Of course, it shows off he was real bad at it. Then by the end of the 2 weeks, he got good enough so that they could put him on a mission. And they put him on a mission to go meet the people. He had $5 million in cash, and they're supposed to take the $5 million in cash and get a card that allows them to get into the auction. So all these hitmen is trying to annihilate the competition. So once he gets that the intel, all these hitmen is trying to fight him. So of course it's a bunch of action scenes to keep you drawn in. Eventually they destroy his phone that had his ticket to get into the auction. So they kind of looked down at him, and he didn't want to give up. He felt he let everybody down. So the thought came in, well, if somebody tried to take ours, let's take somebody else's. So that's the next mission. They did succeed. Now they got their ticket to get into the auction, and then they find out when they get into the auction is that they find out that the CIA is actually funding the union. And so to get this intel at the auction, they had to drive around the city so they could find a location. So they had to keep bidding online. When they keep bidding online, it keeps the network open so they could find a location. So they got as far as the 575 million, and they kind of made jokes. That's basically they're playing with somebody's 401k money and all that type of stuff or whatever, retirement money. So on a lighter note, those of you who do have 401ks and retirements, all you see when you go into your accounts is numbers. You ever wonder where that real money is? So when you see movies like this, it make you think, are they taking money, doing all types of crap with your 401k, and all you see is a number, So that kind of reminds you, kind of like that Enron stuff that took place. But nevertheless, back to the movie. They found a location of who the person that was the auctioneer, and when they found the person, Roxanne knew exactly who she was. And when she found out she knew exactly who she was, they had a little back and forth, and pretty much Roxanne was like, hey, don't make me kill you here, and I want the intel. So she was forthcoming. She didn't fight her. She went back to her place, and when she went back to her place, she went into her safety box and gave Roxanne a case. But when a knock came at the door, she pretty much act like she didn't know who was at the door and said she wasn't expecting anybody. In walks who I thought was alive, Nick Faraday. And he telling Roxanne, listen, They were separated and they were married. So then that was a blow to Mike. Like, oh wow, I'm thinking I'm rekindling with my high school, whatever, and you were married to this guy Nick. Nick pretty much said that Tom was he was in on everything. He set everything up. He didn't come tell her because he was trying to protect her, but she got to listen to him, and she kind of listened to him and think Tom was in on everything. So when she left and went on a mission, pretty much told him, "Hey," he said, "Meet me at this location tomorrow, and we'll hand it over to the CIA. Handed the information over to the CIA." And so he told her he would handle the girl who was doing the auction. So that was suspect right there. She left with Mike, and Mike pretty much her and Mike had a back and forth. Now, one other part that I left out was a moment where they went on a mission. When they went on a mission, they had like an IT girl. They pretty much killed her, and after they killed her, they found the headquarters of the Union, and they blew it up. But Brennan was able to get out at the time. Tom Brennan was able to get out at the time. So instantly, you knew it had to be a leak. Somebody that knows all their information. So that it just led up that Nick was still alive and he was the one doing everything. Nevertheless, fast forward to where we were. This setup was supposed to be where Nick had the girl who was doing the auction, had her pretty much swap out the case when they weren't looking, and he was going to set Roxanne and Mike up for the CIA, make it look like they were the one in on everything. So when the CIA showed up, Roxanne and Mike jumped off the bridge and pretty much escaped. Meanwhile, going to where Nick was with the underworld people that was going to buy the intel, they ran into the meeting and pretty much messed the deal up. So from here, it's a lot of back and forth. Roxanne looking at Nick, I can't believe you did this, and he pretty much said, I'm tired of being a gopher for the Union. I want to be my own man, make my own money. He's like, you could come with me. And the girl he was with that was doing the auction, she was with him. She had her own people, but pretty much when she knew the deal was over, she kicked him to the curb. And she pretty much told Roxanne, I know you're going to come after me, but remember, I spared your life. And she pretty much did. So they could lead up to a potential part 2. And of course, it was a lot of back and forth, a lot of action scenes, driving scenes, shooting, humorous moments. In the end, it led to Nick and Roxanne with a standoff. She killed him. He fell in the water. And they got the intel back to Tom Brennan, who was pretty much solid. The Union was threatened if they didn't get that intel back that it would be losers funding and it would be over. However, that saved the day. Mike went back to Jersey and gave his best man speech. Roxanne ended up showing up to the wedding, the reception. Mike was happy to see her, and pretty much they were, it was a moment when they first met, saying that they was a janitor closet and they wanted to get it on. And so he barred it up again, and this time she was with it. And then the process of them heading to the the janitor closet, Tom Brennan was out there waiting to talk to Mike, and pretty much tell Mike, listen, you passed the test, you part of the Union, and we got another mission for you. And pretty much Roxanne was like, well, no, we need a vacation. And he said, well, all right, I'll give y'all 3 days. And said, welcome to the team. So it went off just like that. Decent enough movie to tune into if you ain't got nothing else to watch. At the end of the movie, the post-credit scenes, it shows a picture of Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg when they were younger, and they took a picture together. So that was cool too. Out of my 4-star rating system, I give this movie a 2 out of 4 stars. On this movie, if I mean, that's on this movie. On this channel, if I give a movie 2 out of 4 stars, it could be bad or good, but it's decent enough that you watch it, you follow along, and nothing much. It's not must see, but it keep you entertained. Till next time.